TIM Beach Office 5522 City Rio, aliás, City Surf Rio, Brazil, October 2, 2021. We will keep our movement and continue our conversation with a new friend. And this new friend has a special duty, and by this must be under special protection by reciprocity, considering the equity, considering the equivalent concern, which is part of the careful preparation as work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure is a piece at project management, and in general must be full of details, because we'll bring the entire activity as project management. And of course that when you do the work breakdown structure with extra careful concern, you maybe will avoid loss during the procedure as thing that you do, and sometimes you must do. Then we will check a new effort, which is the new blog Risk Report 2021 October. Academic invitation, the first thing that you will observe there. Econometric model, philosophy plus rework bank market for control from South America, Brazil, because it suffered violations unfair here. And considering maybe interest on it, they can claim or request the right by legitimacy and the interest to do their institutional role properly. Project chart WBS, which means work breakdown structure, under the same risk as violation, considering everything we exposed, advised, and you insist. So show is very close to the end. Busy Plan 2021-2024, open monopoly in name of freedom. We had indeed the Federation of Banks with a lot of disgusting and arguments presenting about difference of each other, and it's something good because it's opening their mind to the new entrance that we will have, because these players indeed had here at the past but skipped the way, considering the big crap that this environment turns into a big shit. As a junk environment, you can have this all the time, all day. So violations of privacy from public corruption that indeed you did, Brazil and peers might have been impacting other interests, and we advised this all the time, but you insisted. And they have maybe legitimacy and interest to act. Article 4, Item 9, Development of Mankind. Article 5, the caput, which means the first line of this article, foreigners. And Brazilians are equal in many cases. And one of those cases is the Article 5, 54 item. It's Roman description, but it's 54, which is the private action when the prosecutors do not act by nepotism, by corruption, by a lot of things. Observe it and prove it. 74-2381. Integrated failure distributed as geopolitical empowerment for misusage of prerogative. And you do this violating my privacy, my intimacy, my property. You know? Article 561, which is the judicial power to enact the order of prison. And Article 41, item 41, on Article 5, which is about the guarantees that this kind of right and guarantee as basic needs, basic rights, will be protected by law. But sometimes you can claim this with the offender. And the victim at this case is international interest, considering the Article 5, Article 4, Item 9 of our Constitution. They got impacted the security in the same way, you know, considering the property, as we said in a previous presentation, the immaterial and the intellectual asset is priceless, have no limits as gains, was advised. But you insisted. So we will have now the suggestion as a model, which was a picture at the chart, the post that you have at the blog, and was suggested this situation here, which is prices. We have one private bank in Brazil, if deserved. We will have this prize, maybe for instance, a triple Nobel Prize. I must have an account to receive this money. And then we suggested this as this bank here. And the financial paper, which is a negotiable instrument, claim the ambition and pretension, considering all interest that must be confirmed or already have this confirmed, especially by a new friend, which is maybe a member of the Supreme Court, USA, very, ancient at that chair. So, the conditional flow is 1% of first 3 trillion. And then we will segment the first 3 trillion at the 33 trillion. And I suggested as, the condition to have the anti-crime budget to protect the witness and a lot of things. And sometimes people that must do a special duty must have a special protection. And then we will consider the conditional flow to open an account with, for instance, 2 banks for comparative measurement, the Bank of America and the Citibank, on the review of FBI, both by peers, considering the peers inside the Interpol. And then we have the anti-crime paper segmented 30 trillion plus 3 trillion, or 33 trillion minus 3 trillion. These 3 trillion, I said, I can have, and if I would like, I can transfer this. This paper, the idea is have one self-administrated account. Was suggested, if you violated in the way you did my email and my email account, you have this, but you consider a funny thing. And this will be used to, control the environment full of criminals at the financial system, acting by the migration of modified data and advantage at public department, considering coalition and cyber crimes, plus white collar crime, fintech scams. Right, Brazil? Right. Then we will check that maybe we will have this huge investment, I would say, as a paper, which is not a free paper. It's a paper on the domain of the international law enforcement to act inside the bank system as global and international from Brazil, which is part of the South America, which indeed has a causality as conditional paper and causal negotiable instrument with an operation named financial factory. Then financial factory will receive the first 3 trillion, which is 1% of the amount of money or something like this to have this flow, and they can have this as a donation or set the account, whatever. And people in crisis in the way you have will come, for instance, to the Citibank or to the Bank of America, or these two big players can having an interbank or intrabank negotiable instrument with a condition set by the law enforcement, which is give information about distortion and criminal activity, for instance, in Brazil. And you, for instance, will apply a piece of this money at the Suncoast area as an investor, maybe not a real investor, but a international agent, member of this law enforcement, to claim the information that you need, your group need, about the logistic system and other things. People can come freely at the bank, request money, have the conversation with the manager or something like this, and he will offer conditions, a lot of things, and will request information about you, about what you do, about your entire life. And of course that we are having the segmentation of the entire financial system. It's the 50th segmentation in global scale from South America, Brazil, considering the violations committed, which indeed now is charged, and you will pay, and then we will reapply or apply again as a rework and reshape the bank system. And of course that this will open many other markets, including the communication, which are all under domain as cartel, oriented to such a trust. And maybe we will have a decreasement of prices as commodities, energy, food, things like this, working for security, freedom, stability, always by law, despite you do not get along with my ideas, with my research, right, Brazilian public institution, but you are all corrupted, according with the law, the facts, the circumstance, and now maybe with a declaration, international, by a peer at the Security Forum Brazil USA. Any question? So, bring your reasons to the bank, which will be maybe the Bank of America and Citibank, but as you said, we will have, the distribution of agents at the international bank system. The Switch Bank had a problem, a big one, and others. But the Switch Bank is a benchmark at reliable and security, but with storage as illicit money is part of the criminal scam. Then we will have all this. After have all this, we will seizure this money entire. It's not part of the financial paper, which is a negotiable instrument with an instrumental use to do this seizure after have the segmentation. The owners of this illegal money as storage, as flow, as interflow, interconnection or transference are all criminals, and they will be sent to jail until 2024, and the preventive control will advance to the next step, which is America 2028. Any question? Have a nice weekend.